The tea we serve is about information and you sip it with the knowledge that it might brain you, it might hurt you, or it might make you. Anyways, I go by the name of Abdlamini, aka Find the Beat on Instagram, aka Lil if you know me in the streets. And I'm your host for this podcast. You're tuning in. Now, on today's episodes with me, I have Senetisiwe. How are you?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay. What you think of my intro? You think I have a shot at?
Pardon?
You think I have a shot at poetry?
I mean, I'm not convinced yet. No. No.
I see.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, my guest today is a poet, and she has managed to travel around Sadak in terms of poet.
Yeah. Poetry, dance, and theater.
There's poetry, dance, and theater. Can you just quickly explain the difference between the two?
Okay, they're not too different from each other because it's all art, and I think, well, that's just my perspective, that the blueprint of most, if not all, arts is poetry. But I'm a poet, and that is using my words to express how I feel and, you know, my thoughts, and creatively relay any situation. And then with dance, I use my body. I call what I do conscious movement because usually I've only done one choreographed dance piece, but usually I actually just do improvisation. So whatever, when I'm on stage and however the music moves me in the moment, that's how I move. So yeah, I hardly call it dance. I just call it movement, conscious movement. And then with theater, that's, yeah, just theatrical enactments, just acting really.
Okay.
And I've done
more like role playing.
Yes, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's very nice.
Yeah.
So like between the two, which one is your strongest?
My strongest, huh?
Yeah, this is a chance to market yourself. Let them know.
I would say honestly, theater is my first love. I started acting, I think, in grade 1. If I'm not, in grade 1.
You started acting in grade 1.
I got my first acting role.
In grade 1. What? Acting.
So what happened was we had at the end of the year we used to have like you know at the end of the year you have like shows and stuff at school.
Oh yeah.
So we had like was it a Christmas play? I don't remember, but I was starring that play. I remember grade 1. And I think the teacher just saw how energetic I was and how I was very theatrical and dramatic and yeah. So she saw me fit for the role and I did well. I nailed that role and I didn't know I had it in me as well. So I really fell in love with theater at that time. But I didn't do it for a long time after.
Oh yeah.
So then in grade 3 and grade 5, that's when I started doing poetry, and that's what I've been doing more.
So how were you able to incorporate poetry and acting?
It's actually pretty easy because those artistic expressions really just flow quite easily. When I'm on stage and I'm reciting a poem, even how I express myself and how I move is acting as well, because you now enter the poem and act and try to relay those feelings to try and make them feel those emotions. Okay. And yeah. So it's really the same thing.
Wow, guys, some chakra right here. But anyways, moving on. So now you actually discover that, okay, I can do poetry. Okay, how did that come about? Like, how did you actually discover that I can do poetry, especially at like grade 4 and 5?
Great. Okay, so in grade 3, a teacher, I think she was an arts teacher or a drama teacher. She had like.
So you went to a private school?
Yes,
that makes sense now. I'm thinking grade 4 drama, bro. What?
Yeah. So she was curating, I think, like a poetry series where she wanted us to recite a couple of poems. Actually, this was for marks. This was for our English lesson. Yeah. So she gave us a couple of poems and we would recite them and just the way we feel, just however she gave us creative direction, freedom. And we were going to be marked for it at how we presented. So yeah, I nailed it. I took it seriously, and I nailed it. I got an A++ for that. I remember so well. And yeah, I felt so good getting such a high scoring, and I also just felt so good on that stage, really
Oh, yeah?
just reciting that poem,
It's
and
crazy.
that's what sparked the love for it. And then in grade 5 again, we learned about it in English class, and that's when we properly learned how to like write a poem, how
Yeah.
to the rhyme schemes and the
Mm.
different poetic,
Metaphors, similes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when we learned that, I tried to incorporate it more in my writing, and I actually put together my first anthology of poems. Unfortunately, I lost it. So
Wow. How did
yeah,
you lose it?
it was just when you have stuff in the house from like school, they're lying around, and then like
Oh,
all
yeah.
of
And
a
then you try to
sudden,
look
just
for it. You can't
you
find
can't
it.
find it anymore. Exactly. Yeah. So it's pretty unfortunate because for a long time I wrote and didn't actually keep my works.
Oh, yeah.
So I do feel like I've lost a piece of myself that way. So fast forward to my recent years, I've been trying now to write to keep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you actually thought about doing acting as a career and then living poetry? Because I feel like you can't manage both.
You think?
I mean, originally actors they work like Monday to Friday,
Yeah.
especially telenovelas.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So won't that affect your time into making poems?
I think there's always time to write. There would definitely be time to do that, but I have thought about it. To answer your question, I have thought about doing acting professionally. I think the only challenge is that I don't have professional training, or I haven't gone to an acting school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't studied it. It's just a passion that I've learned to hone in different ways. And maybe workshops and certain things. Yeah, that counts. But when you want to really enter it professionally, actually studying it actually really counts. For you to enter that space, it's not easy as someone who just has a passion for it.
Which is another challenging thing that we have in our country, acting and script writing. We don't have institutions that teach us about this thing. And it's hard for us. Plus, we have like people who are learning multimedia, people who are being educated on how we can execute this, but we're lacking on the other side. What can we change? How can we change that?
I think it would be to introduce it to institutes, especially like places like Limkokin. They do
Multimedia. They have journalism, but they don't have drama.
Yeah, right.
They don't have drama.
I think it would be worth introducing. Even maybe, let's say it's not introduced in institutes. I think we should cultivate a culture where we have a lot of workshops and like for example a script writing workshop, so we have people that teach people who are interested in script writing to know how to do it. Because we're entering an age where we're becoming more interested in it, and we're seeing like how talented we are as Swazis, and we just don't have the tools and the exposure and the right channels to kind of hone those skills. And so I think workshops and culture centers, and those are the kinds of things to be introduced that will help us hone the skill. And like, yeah,
it's long overdue though. I feel like it will happen. It's just that it's the time.
Yeah,
it's the time balancing.
Yeah.
So moving on, when did you discover that I can actually make money out of poetry?
So for a long time I was doing it in church mostly. I was reciting in church, so really there was no money. I was doing it for ministry. And
so like in church you would do like godly.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would recite godly work.
So you're an all-rounder.
I would say yes. The only reason I decided to recite less or not recite in church anymore was because there was a lot that I wanted to express that wasn't welcome in the confinements of a church. So that's when I started being more comfortable. Well, I kind of stopped reciting in church and started, writing about other things and being comfortable breaking those barriers that I had when I was reciting in church. So then in 2018, that is when I started writing other stuff and kind of exposing myself to different industries and like
Okay.
putting myself out there to actually make money out of it. So I started in 2018 to do it commercially. Yeah.
I'm also aware that you also did a poem for gender-based violence
Oh yeah, I
and a
do.
campaign actually.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So which campaign is this? Because I did the Standard Bank he for she campaign. That one was actually what I like about the arts, and if you do your work well, is that one thing ripples to another. You know, one gig
Nah,
ripples to the next. So
nah.
I was from a certain gig, and then afterwards I got a call from someone I actually went to school with who
Yeah.
works at Standard Bank, and she was like, "Okay, so we have the he for she campaign, and it's about just empowering women, especially those in vulnerable positions and just those who have been assaulted and all of that. We just want to have a poem written, but in a very creative way, of trying to empower women in the workplace. Because we know that women are inferior in the workplace. So just to kind of put that in the best creative way possible. So yeah, and that was actually my first corporate gig. I was like, what? Crazy. And yeah.
Corporate.
Yeah. So I did that. That was nice. We did a video as well, but the video wasn't like a video. It was just when I saw the video, it was just really a slideshow of certain men, which I actually, to be honest, I didn't like. It was mostly men in a women empowering campaign. But yeah, anyways, just who
was responsible for that?
I don't know.
What? Okay.
But I think I would have liked, just to correct that, I would have liked to see more women saying certain things as well. But I think their idea was that they wanted men to say that, okay, we stand for this campaign. We want to uplift the women, and we will not be a part of
the society that destroys women.
Yes, exactly. But it's unfortunate actually that some of the people on that slide are people that have been outed for doing the exact same thing that campaign was trying not to.
Have you actually did a follow-up on the database on how many people have been held towards that campaign?
No, actually, I think that would be quite necessary.
Because I mean, it does happen a lot in our country whereby we do campaigns about certain things, but they're not fully addressed.
True.
They just put aside for something else, and then we continue without even actually understanding what this thing is wrong, especially abuse. I don't wanna get into it a lot, but yeah, it is an issue.
Yeah, it is an issue. And that wasn't the only campaign that I did on gender-based violence. I think the other one we did was the Mwala campaign, which means the rock. And it was really the same thing as well, just empowering women and uplifting them. But that one was just women around the SADC. It wasn't just Eswatini. So it had different women saying and writing poems about.
So how are you able to come up with this? How are you able to be a voice for other people? Do you reflect on your life or you reflect on their problem?
I would say both, actually. I do reflect on my own experiences. I do reflect on other people's experiences. You see a lot, you hear a lot, and as women, like, it's sad, but we have similar experiences. And it's unfortunate that most of us have been suppressed. Most of our voices have been suppressed. So just having the gift to use your words and just having a voice, being able to voice out, is necessary to use, not only to speak for yourself, but for others as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you able to manipulate that, and then you as a woman on your own, you able to empower other people? Because I mean, guys, being a superhero is not easy. Like, it's not, and especially if you're somebody involved in people who are vulnerable.
Yeah.
So how are you able to not take the problems, to not take your art into your own life? How do you separate?
To be honest, there is not too much separation that happens with me.
Oh, yeah?
With me, it is I listen to, maybe it's because it's what drives me, like just what I know, what I see, what I hear, what I've experienced, it becomes the art, you know.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say I separate those things from my art. Like I think it's I'm a part of my art. Others are a part of my art, and it's what makes the art. So otherwise, like, not to say there isn't creativity involved as well, you know.
Yeah.
But there isn't much that separates me from the art. It's like we're kind of one. So
Is your mom cool with you doing poetry as a job?
My parents would rather me have a job, a proper job.
A 9 to 5.
You know, yeah, a 9 to 5. But at the moment, I think for me it was actually a healing journey that started in 2018, when I would be at home and I would be on my laptop just writing, and I would write what I would write. I would let that heal me as well, you know. So I did that for a while, and then it just, you know, the years went on, you know, you start getting gigs, so time went on, and I was doing that for a while. So it didn't feel there wasn't much pressure for a job at some point, but now it's starting to be there because, wow,
you're growing up.
Yeah,
bills.
exactly.
I understand.
So yeah, they would really actually like me to get a job. I would like that too for myself, actually, at this point, because to be honest, if you do have a job, for people who do have a job and do the arts as well, it really helps fund it, because it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, especially in our kingdom.
Exactly.
So I want to ask you, how often do you create?
Not as much as I would like.
Not as much as.
Not as much as I would like.
If you had to estimate.
I write. Okay, to be honest, I interchange between different things, like between writing and also consume, because it's important to consume craft as well. I can't always write, and then I feel like I also just run dry as well. I need to live to experience and gain some inspiration. And then I also need to consume other art as well, just like maybe go to art galleries, listen to music. So I interchange. I go through periods where I write and then maybe I consume, and then, you know, So I wouldn't say maybe I write 5 poems a week, or, you know, it's not like that. It doesn't work like that for me.
I want to speak. I want to share something with you. For each and every creator, especially if you want to take your creativity to the next level, it's important to create every day. It might not be a lot, but just try that each and every day you have something that you worked on, because that on its own, it triggers the mind not to work on inspiration.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I agree with that.
Because inspiration may never strike, and what's going to happen?
Yeah.
That's why we have one-hit wonders.
True.
Exactly. Because they did it, but they did not do it.
Yeah. No, I do try, like, especially when I've been watching, I don't really watch TV much, but recently I've been just going through periods of just watching movies. And when I am triggered, like a thought is triggered or an idea or something, I just write it down. So I do, like, I need
to teach myself how to do that.
Yeah, it's actually a good practice, because those ideas they run away and they'll never come back to you.
And a funny thing about an idea, once it runs, the next person is going to get it.
Oh, that is so true. That is so true.
You'll be like, I wanted to do that though.
Yeah.
But then it's gone.
But to also say something on that, like, I wouldn't say just because someone else did it, you shouldn't do it anymore. Nothing is new on this planet. Everyone is recycling everything. So it's just a matter of doing it your own way, and then it's yours.
But that's the thing though. Your own way may not be really your own way, if you know what I mean.
I mean...
Guys, it's hard being different, especially when a society that we are surrounded by a people who consume a lot and don't want to create. So the creators end up getting overlooked by the people who are consuming and then reciprocating.
Okay.
And it's a challenging thing. Like, it's hard to be different. Our society judges you every day. You've been traveling, man. I want to know how that feels. You've been to Mozambique.
Yes, I've been to Mozambique a couple of times.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Your work.
My work, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Let the work speak for itself.
Yeah, no, it's honestly been really such a privilege to just break out of this country, because one thing this country can do, or just being confined in one place for a long time, it can really box you, and your minds and your ideas are just restricted and clogged and blocked into just this one small box, and wow, the moment you break out of that box, you cross borders, you are opened to so much, so many different cultures, so many different ideas. It opens your mind. You are open to so many opportunities as well. Like being in Mozambique, like the first time, was it the first time I was there? Yeah, I got an opportunity, and that could have taken me
Can you just briefly explain on how you got the opportunity so that another person listening can actually get a few tips?
How did I get the opportunity? It's just, man, I think it's just making connections with people and standing for your craft and then believing in it. So I have an advisor who's a cultural actor.
Yeah.
And yeah, he works with different people, works with different different people from different forms of art. And just when I reached out to him for a certain, it was, I think I actually wanted to record at that time. And then I ended up just getting to know him, and he's a co-founder of a record label, and he does so much other cultural
this guy?
work.
Put him on.
Cizo.
Put him on.
Cizo, his name is Cizo.
Okay.
So he works with other things. So it was just very useful for me to work with him closely, because when he has ideas that he feels like are aligning to my interests, or opportunities that he knows about that he feels I could, he sends them to me, and I have to draft either a proposal or whatever,
Yeah.
So with Poetas Dalma, he works part of the team that he's part of the team that works for Poetas Dalma, which is a poetry festival, poetry and performing arts festival in Mozambique. And so the first time that happened, I don't remember correctly, but he just gathered a couple of poets and who were down to go to Mozambique, and no, that wasn't the first time. Let me try to remember.
Guys,
but basically
been busy.
But basically he just he's always ready to put people on any kind of artist because he's aware of the different platforms they could benefit from. So yeah, he
on when you say putting people on, what exactly does he focuses on? Is it poetry only, or
no, it's not
aspects?
poetry only. He has collaborated with fine artists. I think recently he's helped get someone to have their art exhibited in Taiwan. And yeah, he's helped with getting me to Ginani, a dance festival. And that was also in Mozambique. That was pretty cool to be a part of. But I didn't perform there. What happened was I was a part of the workshops and discussions with the people in Ginani. And it was really cool to watch all the shows as well. Like, people are amazing and creative when it comes to dance. And that's why I even say I don't think theater and dance and whatnot is that different from each other, because you could go to a dance festival and you're on a stage watching people just theatrically expressing so much and doing so many things with just dance. And yeah, the disciplines really interchange and interconnect.
Well, I'm just watching you, Liz. I'm just watching you talking, man. I'm actually just surprised, whoa.
My bad.
Actually, to be honest with you, I'm not familiar with poetry, especially in the kingdom. I know it's there, it exists, but to me, it has existed on social media. People doing TikTok videos.
Oh yeah,
people doing YouTube channels.
Okay.
I also understand you also have a YouTube channel.
Yes, I do. Senetisiwe on YouTube.
Guys, please go do subscribe. Just click the notification button over there. So tell me, on what exactly do you mainly focus on in terms of the content? that you create? Is it the dance or is it the poetry?
It's all of it. Anything that I do, and yeah, it's really whatever I create. If I happen to feel like dancing today, and I'm like, okay, I quickly come up with a concept and decide to record, and I think it's YouTube worthy, then I'll post it.
So you record the content, you dance, and then you do the poem.
Well, I haven't done that yet, but yes. Yes. Oh yeah, I've actually done that before. There was a silhouette series that I was doing, and I wrote a few like short poems. I was actually doing like a silhouette movement dance thing, which was pretty cool. I liked it. So I was playing before playing that, I had like a little piece of poetry that I placed in as an intro, and then I did the silhouette movement, and yeah. So
I feel like you should take advantage of the digital space more than, because you already have the groundwork and it's already been working out for you. You know, so I feel like you should work on the digital space. You can do reactions, you can do the poems on TikTok. You know, come up with concepts.
I've actually just recently got on TikTok.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You've been stalling.
I have been stalling. I have.
Same here.
I have.
I still don't have an account.
Oh my god! But you're able to like look through some videos. Yeah.
I feel like I am gonna get on TikTok. It's just that I have to go there with a plan. You know.
I mean,
I have to go there with a plan.
Do you really? Because right now you could just build your following by just creating an account and maybe posting stories or just like posting random things, and then once you figured a plan, then you can like maybe delete the stuff and like start posting the videos according to your plan while you have the following that you've gained while you didn't have a plan.
That's actually a good idea. Thank you for that. But I wanna emphasize on the digital space. You should take advantage of that. It's a growing market, and poetry has the ability to take you all over the world.
True. That is very true.
I feel like it's one of the things that is actually most appreciated all over.
Yeah.
And like you said, for women, that's the campaigns that you've been doing for women. And I don't want to think that it's women only suffer that in Swaziland, but also in the rest of the world.
That's true. That's
definitely
true. Yeah.
So moving on, you've been nominated twice, right?
Yes.
Social Media Awards.
Yes.
MTN.
Yes.
Swamba.
Yes, I have.
Did you win anything?
No, I didn't. And to be honest, it was great to be recognized for the craft that I do. I was honored. But one thing I noticed that actually made me moving forward not reject. Yeah, I think I declined some. They with social media awards, they actually ask you, would you like to continue with this, right? Yeah, so I declined. There was a year where I declined because I noticed on that first year when I was nominated for both, I got so much anxiety. So I suffer from anxiety and, other things, but like, because you put yourself out there and you're like competing with people and you have to prove yourself constantly. Like it took the fun out of like the purpose of what I do.
The creativity.
It really just trying to sell yourself to people, trying to convince them that you're worth it, I don't do what I do to convince someone I'm good at it. I do it to express myself, to heal myself, and for someone else to resonate. And it's what drives me. And if anyone else sees its worth and recognizes it for an award, that is such an honor. And I really appreciate everyone that's actually been supporting me and like posting my name on these nominations and stuff. I really appreciate it. But it just gives me a lot of anxiety to try prove myself for what I do.
That you're worthy.
That I'm worthy.
But then again, that's why you have a PR team. The people who are responsible to do that. For you, as the person who's a creative, you don't really have to be out there. You could have a team that be doing all the pushing and all the selling of the brand while you are creating.
Yeah.
I
don't have a PR team though.
Which we come in handy. We got you. We got you. We talked about this, guys. We got you 100%.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, moving on. So you didn't win any award?
No.
Any
Not
competitors
yet.
that were there?
Pardon?
Any competitors that you felt like, I could do better than this?
I would rather not say.
No, I'm not saying name drop, but like, did you feel like you were overlooked?
um did I feel like I was overlooked? I would say yes, but I also recognize that I have been lacking in certain things, like for instance the PR we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like I don't necessarily like always post and put myself out there and try.
Yeah.
My focus is usually, which has actually worked for me, like just meeting the right people, finding the right opportunities,
Yeah.
and usually with that, it's not even about the people liking your work or whatever. It's just about getting that opportunity, trying to get funding for it, and then getting to express yourself and do your thing.
Okay.
And that audience will react the way they do, or and that's how I've actually been able to go places, because sometimes it's not really about your popularity. That's good. It's great and it brings a
Facts.
lot of opportunities.
Facts.
But when you also align yourself to the right people, you could simply just, you could go places too, because they will just, oh, you do this. I know an event that does this. You link up with the right people, you get an invitation to go to that certain event, you apply for funding, or if they already funding you, then they'll just fund you to go do whatever you do at somewhere else in a different country. So that has been working for me, and it doesn't need me to constantly prove myself and release content and
Okay.
though there's a positive side to that too. It's also just how I've been working.
But since you say it's not really about popularity, right? But in some cases, okay, I don't know much about poetry, but I feel like you don't really have to, kiss ass to actually do it. But in some cases, you find that you actually have to do that, and you're not about that,
Yeah.
which is why the right person is not good for you.
Please repeat that.
He could be the right person helping you now, now, and then the following day he's not.
Oh yeah, which is why you need to like have the skill to be able to not only like really rely on one person. Like when you get an opportunity through one person, look at how you got that opportunity and use the same skills, maybe it was a networking skill that got you there, or it was I don't know, whatever it was, apply it to like somewhere else and be able to independently get opportunities elsewhere using the same skills you used with that first opportunity you got.
Okay, that's good advice.
Yeah.
If you're listening, take notes. Quickly take notes. So you've also had you've participated in a campaign.
Yes.
With Harvard University. It was a workshop.
It was okay, so they were hosting a discussion on the Independence Day.
On the Swaziland Independence Day.
Yeah, Swazi Independence Day. And yes, in the kingdom.
Okay.
The discussion wasn't in the kingdom. It was via Zoom, but it was being hosted by them at Harvard, in collaboration with Swazi Lives Matter.
Okay.
And they were basically reflecting on the state of a country post the massacre in 2021?
2021.
2020 or 2021. 2020 was the
2021.
was
COVID.
2021 was the massacre. So it was just really reflections on that.
Yeah.
And the state of the country currently. So I was asked to recite a poem for like during that as entertainment for that discussion. And I'm still actually yet to post that poem because I'm not.
Why are you hiding it from us?
I'm not hiding it. It's actually been a matter of just not knowing what visual element to add to it. I have the poem. I've recorded the
maybe
audio
you should try
part of it.
collaborating with someone who can help you with the visuals.
Maybe. Yeah. But I also just I think I could do that. But it doesn't have to be that deep. I had recorded myself just like walking Ebengsekaya, and I was just walking. I had the lihia around me and waving it, not to be patriotic or anything. There's not much to be patriotic about, especially in that situation. But I had recorded that and I was gonna post that, but I wasn't too sure. But I'm not hiding it or anything. But the poem was just really about the state of the country, things that we could improve, and just the lives we lost during the massacre, and how the government and our king it just, for them, it was so easy to do that with no remorse at
None.
all, no accountability. And yeah, it's really a devastating thing. And I'm glad I was able to do that, because there's another thing that I don't like about being in this creative space and asking for funding from certain places, especially if it's associated with the government. So I've been in a situation where I've gotten funding from them, and during our send-off, we were asked not to talk about the massacre and not to go in a different country to talk about the state of the country and what's happening. And that for me was like, okay, so are you giving us money to silence us? Are you, like, it was really devastating to experience that. And I'm just being able to write a poem about the state and just everything felt really liberating, because I didn't want to be one of those that, okay, I'll take this as a gag, to shut my mouth. And like, no, I will continue to speak for things I stand for, things, our experiences in the country, and without fear, because we lost lives, the losing of people's lives, that's
the shooting,
that's a serious thing. The murdering, the blood that was shed. We can't overlook that. We can't overlook that.
And I want you to state some of the factors that the problems that we addressed on that particular meeting.
Okay. So I actually have the poem here. Let me see. I addressed, like, for instance, I did share about me having health issues. So I have been to certain hospitals a lot. I've been like there a lot. And one thing I've noticed is that it's congested. Medication runs out. We don't have medication at hospitals.
It's a recent problem.
A recent?
Just a week ago, there were no medications. And the nurses were striking.
It's not even like it's been a recurring issue for so long. Like, we are building unnecessary buildings around the country, investing in unnecessary things, but hospitals are like full and there's no medication. And, those are the kind of issues I was addressing. The LGBT community also just not having recognized rights, and us not having political parties, or at least recognized political parties. I was addressing things like, okay, the massacre and how the king is not really addressing the country, like not really having a dialogue with the country. Isibaya, we won't consider that a dialogue. That's rather a monologue he uses to ridicule Emaswati. And
slow down with the politics.
I mean, you asked for it.
Okay, let's go.
So yeah, and just like how, rape cases, and not only rape cases, like assault cases with kids, and also just any crime case, any crime is stalled. Like, that's, justice is not a priority in this country.
It's
like,
not. It's not.
There's so many cases that are sitting not being addressed, and yet you will see Mapoyisa there giving you a speed ticket, or like giving you a ticket for jaywalking, or like, for them that's like, that's what they,
they're working.
They're working. But like, so it's just, like, those for me are the issues that were burning issues for me that I felt I needed to address in this poem. And let me just see what else I addressed here. Yeah, just like how backwards our government systems are. Like, we're so backwards, and some opportunities are being hoarded. Like, there's certain opportunities that we don't know about that are actually available to us, but we just don't know about it.
We're never notified about them. It goes to the same people.
But when they do kind of maybe tell us about opportunities, it will be like through print or radio or on newspaper. It's just like so backwards. Like, we have the internet. You could like, yeah.
It's a challenging thing. Change is not easy. Change is not an easy thing.
But we're like, we have the funds to. There's so much money in this country. So much money. We could be elevating more. Okay.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I mean, like, not to say.
Where does the money go out? Because I'm gonna ask you that. And
but the money goes to like investing in the wrong things.
You think it's the wrong things?
Yeah, I think it's.
But property, you'll never go wrong with property.
True, but is it property that is useful for the public, or is it luxury that is for tourist attractions? none of those have been used to properly actually, you know, empower like poverty stricken people. Like I live in a rural area. We have roads that have been like, we've stopped grading them because like, wow, no, we actually haven't stopped grading them. I think they stopped because they complain about no fuel. There's just always complaining about something, but those roads haven't been tarred. There's orphans there that are just destitute, and babokoko labahotimali lahola bokoko ingane, like it's just, there's so many things. I'm just trying to get like random stuff from my brain right now, but it's just, yeah, it's really devastating.
So having to address all those issues in a vast community like that, what are some of the things that were said are going to happen in order to help make the situation better?
You mean in the discussion?
Yeah, in the discussion.
Okay.
What is the way forward?
I would say that discussion was more of a reflection, and yeah, it was more of a reflection,
an awareness,
and an awareness to exactly the rest of the world and what is happening in Eswatini. But the gist of the way forward is just, you know, political parties being more empowered. They are existing political parties, and they were a part of the discussion, and they would just more just, they, you know, different political parties have different agendas, right? And so they were just more pushing their agenda. Would see this is what they'll continue to do, and yeah, just coming together to try change.
Which political party do you support?
At the moment, not any specific. I don't think I know and I've seen enough to say I support this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the moment, none. But I really respect their, you know, the initiative.
Yeah, it's an ongoing situation, and it's a good thing. We need that. But things are slangani.
Aslangani. What do you mean?
Asimbumbe.
Oh, okay.
United we stand.
Yeah.
Divided we fall.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just that type of situation. But
yeah,
I don't really want to get into politics like that.
Yeah, sure.
So I want to know, how exposed are you with our industry in the kingdom? What are some of the things that you feel like as creatives we should do more often in order to grow our industry?
Okay. What should we do more as creators? You know, as a creative myself and someone who's done a lot in the past years, I feel like we are discouraged, and we are not, like, no matter how empowered you are to do whatever you want, you know, to make sure you thrive, like because of funding, because of what like you know, just it ends up disempowering you. So
right.
I honestly see people have been working, dude. People are doing so many these podcasts. They're people on YouTube. They're poets, they're writers. You know, maybe not enough of all of that. I would say maybe people should continue to pursue their dreams, and you know, I would say they should continue doing that. But I can't say people aren't doing this and this, because I feel like people have been doing a lot. It's just, it's very discouraging, nagute imali, that will empower your strides to do something, you know. So that's where I stand with that. What I can say is that there should be more cultural institutes and cultural funders that will empower. That's what I mean by like cultural spaces and cultural institutes that was So it's,
but that needs funding though.
Yes, that's the thing. You know, there's spaces like in Mozambique and in like anywhere else in the country, there's like spaces where artists can either like host shows or like apply for funding that will, like, it's funded, like that you apply, you create a project name, send a proposal to them, and if they approve it, you get funding for it and you're able to actually execute that project. So we need that. That's what I'm saying. We need the spaces that will fund the projects that we're curating and trying to trying to spread. So
Thank you.
that's...
So you just decided to wake up in the morning and come and speak the truth.
Yeah.
Guys, it's crazy. But thank you for coming through.
Yeah.
Can you take us out with a few words? By a few words, I mean poem.
Oh my gosh.
Please.
Yeah, sure. I guess this is probably the one I've been reciting the most. It's like my go-to poem. I usually struggle when someone says, okay, please recite something for us. But when I wrote this one, I think I had those people in mind. So every time now someone asks me to recite someone, I always have this one in mind.
Go. Let's go.
And this one is entitled I Am She. I don't think I'll recite all of it, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Royalty, thy name is woman, and I am she. Bending to raging winds meant to break me, I rise above that occasion. Dusting off labels, names, and fables, may your efforts to bring me down rest in peace. Your vile words only mirror the stench of your own soul. I am not your nemesis, your rival, nor your foe. You cannot put me against you. I am far from reach, only performing for an audience of one. For I am whole and prolific, a sacred spirit, an abundant soul and holy temple. Rooted in love, growing in truth, I shape shift to the potter's rules. I cast light, 'cause I am not afraid of the dark. You will hear the thud of my steps before my arrival, giving way to my aura, which speaks beyond the disillusionment of words that fail to fully embody me. I am one, I am many, I flow straight from the source for those with ears to never thirst. Fluid and watering those around me, living waters flowing from my belly, sweet nectars, a synthesis of my womb of honeycombs. I bear a beauty so delectable, eternally imperishable. Ignoring hate because I am love, but my softness is double-edged. Those that leave or throw dirt only fertilize my grounds. I will always rise.
Woo!
I'll end.
Guys, it's crazy. That's crazy. That was so nice.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
Thank you so much.
You're so talented, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It.
Thank you for coming through.
Thank
you for coming here to speak the truth. Thank you. Big shout out to the whole team. Shout out to the ugly homies behind the cameras. Guys, we out. That was amazing.
Thanks.